Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is actually one that one of you guys requested. You had asked me if I had ever made a brioche bread in the bread machine, and I have before. What is brioche? So brioche is actually like a French bread. It's a delicate bread, kind of soft, a little bit sweet. It's kind of a mix between bread and pastry, and it's very enriched. So it has a lot of fat to it. You're using milk and butter and eggs. It's just very rich. A lot of people use it with French toast. A lot of times like a burger, you'll have a brioche bun if it's, you know, a fancy burger. Typically, you actually let it rise for a while, but with the bread machine, obviously you want to get it done quickly. So if you have the time to do the brioche, you know, you can mix it in the bread machine and take it out and let it sit in the fridge overnight or for a while, then that's great. But if not, then this is a really good recipe to get a really good brioche bread in the bread machine. So starting off with bread machine, per usual, going to go ahead and put all of the ingredients in the bread machine in order. You actually put your liquids in first, and then you'll put your dry ingredients on top and ending with the yeast. Now salt, a lot of people do put it in the liquid. I haven't found that it matters, but that's what we'll probably do. So starting off, I'm going to put a half a cup of butter. I did have to melt my butter. It calls for softened butter, but I had to pull it out of the freezer. So I did go ahead and melt it, but I've let it cool for about 15 minutes. And I'm going, before I put my eggs in, I'm going to put my milk and my water. So it is 1/3 cup of milk warmed up, and then 3 tablespoons of warm water, and then 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now I'm going to put my 3 room temperature eggs that I have beaten. And the reason I wanted to put those in last is because I kind of wanted to cool down by putting the sugar and the water in there, just to make sure that it didn't cook the eggs. Okay, next is 3/4 teaspoon of salt. So then you want to add 3 cups of bread flour, and bread flour does have a little bit more protein content in it. And you can always look at your bread. I always look at my bread when I scrape down the sides, and I check to make sure that everything is incorporating well. And I also make sure at that point in time that I don't need to add any more flour or any more liquids. I also need to make sure I don't lose count. I have had to actually go back and rewatch a video and count how many things that I've added, because sometimes when you start talking, you forget what you're counting. But yeah, I love brioche bread, and I'm actually going to make some French toast for myself tomorrow and show you how I do that with my brioche. This is such a great, quick recipe when you are in a pinch and need to do it quickly. Those are 3 cups of bread flour, and now I need to add my bread machine yeast. I'm gonna create a well, and then I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of instant bread machine yeast. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I have been doing a lot of comparisons between the KBS and the Zoterushi bread machine. And the KBS actually has like a sweet bread and a French bread setting that you can use, or function that you can use, whereas the Zoterushi does not. So I did Google it, and basically you want to do this particular, like a brioche bread, on the basic white bread setting, and then use the light crust. You do not want this one to overbake. Now I know I say this all the time, but it's so important to make sure the Zoterushi clicks twice. So I say it in every video. And it's all because I messed up and it didn't click twice one time. It made half a piece of bread, and it was just such a waste of ingredients. So 2 clicks, always. So when you turn it on, it defaults to basic, and there's just that 1 arrow, and that is going to be your basic bread. And then I'm going to change the crust to light and go ahead and get this started. Okay, I just want to show you quickly, I just scraped down the sides a little bit, but just how, I guess, buttery yellow the dough is when the brioche. That's just from those eggs, the butter, and it just creates this very butter yellow colored dough. So I did want to show that, but this is looking great. Coming up in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to turn this incredibly easy brioche into the most decadent French toast. But first, we need to talk about this loaf. Look at the crust. Even on the light setting, it baked up with a beautiful golden exterior thanks to the caramelization from the, enriched dough. Now you'll notice I do leave the paddles in. The holes are there, but they're really not that dramatic. If you want a perfectly smooth base, you can absolutely remove the paddles or transfer the dough into a loaf pan for its final rise and bake. For everyday baking though, honestly, I don't stress about it. What really makes this bread special is the texture. It's incredibly light and feathery, yet tender and rich because of the butter and the eggs in the dough. The enrichment gives it the soft, almost custardy crumb with the depth and flavor that feels, honestly indulgent. But it's still practical enough to be an everyday loaf. And honestly, the entire family loved it, which is exactly why it makes it the perfect base for what we're about to make next. Okay, so it's the next morning and I have cut 2 pieces of the brioche, and I'm just going to make a really quick French toast dredge, let the brioche soak in. Since this is such a rich bread, just add a little extra protein. I usually use egg whites. I don't have those here, but I'm going to use 1 egg per piece since I don't have egg whites. I'll make sure to put what I'm doing in the description below, and if you're cooking for a crowd, just double or triple or quadruple this recipe based on what you need. But the base is easy to scale. For the custard, I use roughly 1 egg per slice of bread, so today that's just 2 eggs cracked in a shallow dish wide enough to lay the bread flat. To that, I add 2 to 3 tablespoons of milk, about 1 tablespoon of honey, or you can add sugar, and then a pinch of salt, and then cinnamon to taste. If you do like a bold cinnamon flavor like I do, it's about a tablespoon per 2 slices, and I'll often sprinkle a little extra as I go if I'm cooking more batches. You can absolutely elevate this with a pinch of nutmeg or any other warm spice that you love, but then you just whisk everything together until smooth, lay the brioche into the mixture, and let it soak. You don't want it sitting forever, but this is where brioche really shines because it's enriched and sturdy. It can absorb that custard without falling apart. It drinks it in while still holding its structure. From there, cook the slices in a non-stick or cast iron pan over medium-low heat. You want a gentle cook so the inside sets while the outside develops that golden, lightly crispy exterior. For me, that's about 4 minutes per side, or just until beautifully caramelized. To finish, I added a dollop of strawberry cream cheese that I made in my bread machine bagel video. I will link that below. And a drizzle of maple syrup over the top. And honestly, that's it. Crisp edge, custardy center, warm spices. Honestly, this is the kind of breakfast that makes everyone come back for seconds.